On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love said to me, 6 keys to laying 5 golden rings, 4 hummingbirds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Welcome to the 6th review for 2022, and this is something that I honestly forgot about for a long time. In fact, I couldn't even remember the name. All I know is what it was all about. But here we go. Disney's Prep and Landing. So this is basically an early attempt at I for Christmas, made by Disney. The difference is this is a TV special. And began a series of this, which I honestly didn't know about till researching this and watching it again. And they could have done better. I first saw this as an early student in high school, just because, Christmas time at the end, your last term at the end of school, usually you do fun stuff, and in the library they're showing this Christmas special. I was like, I'll look into it. It looked similar to the Rankin Bass stuff, I guess. But with that said, I didn't think much of it. I didn't think it was great. Looking back on it now, I really see the problems even more. But I figured, I might as well clue in this because, So what is the premise? So much like After Christmas, Santa does not do everything on his own. In fact, the elves do a lot of the work. In this case, they help guide Santa down by to every roof of every house, and also make sure that the cookies, the fireplace, all that's all set for his arrival. This sort of job is known as Prep and Landing. One of the elves in charge, Wayne, I should say, voiced by Dave Foley, has done this for about 100 years and is looking forward to getting promoted. Only he doesn't. Instead, his partner gets promoted to the job he wanted, director of the naughty list. And he gets placed with a new, inexperienced partner named Lanny. Wayne, disappointed of it, starts to act like a jerk and starts to slack off on the job in order to get payback for not getting promoted. And, it obviously leads to chaos. So, let's get on to the problems. Okay, so my first major criticism is I'm not a big fan of this animation. I mean, granted, this was, a made-for-television short, but, I don't view it as anything special. This really shouldn't be anything, major. Probably one of the worst things John Lasseter ever did at Disney, in terms of, products. So yet again, I haven't got to the worst thing he said okay with. Get to that Up in the Sky spin-off, whatever. I'll get to that at a different time. But that said, that's not my problem. What I don't like is the main character, Wayne, and what he does. Look, I get it. Doing the same thing for a very long time can get tiring. And yeah, I guess in many ways, since you have done it for so long, you deserve to get promoted. I get it. But what he does is in the middle of this, when he starts to slack on the job, is absolutely downright selfish. Especially when it comes to his new partner, who loves what he's done before and considers him very much a positive icon. When he doesn't even act that way, I don't care about him. He's so awful. Even then, the premise itself, smart, I guess, isn't really perfect. I mean, I like what After Christmas did with this 2 years later compared to what this did. So, bad first attempt at a clever idea. And I don't like the child he meets, as I said. I haven't said that. I don't like the child that he meets that changes his view and gets him back on track. I mean, it is semi-heartfelt when you get to the ending, but I don't really care. And as I said, the biggest thing to keep in mind is this was out, but then again there is the big issue, which I'll get to later. But with that said, there are some things I can enjoy. For as much as I don't like the character of Wayne, Dave Foley does a really good job with the voice performance. For those of you who remember, he's the voice of Flick from A Bug's Life, and with here, I kind of might actually like his performance a little bit more here, which is strange because I don't like the character he plays. That said, I think he does kind of like him more here than A Bug's Life, which is often another film I know a lot of people say I should like more than I do, but who cares? I like the idea of making elves more important in this, which is something I like. Probably one of the few things that was a. I don't know. I'm just saying that I like the elves better here with how important they are. And perhaps the most interesting thing I like is that they don't actually show Santa's face in this, which sort of matches the height of the elves, but that is actually pretty clever. I like when films do that, where these all-important figures, they don't actually show their face. They keep it hidden. They show the rest of the body, but not the face. I love stuff like that. So to do it with Santa, who is the most important icon of Christmas, is really smart in this. So you can kind of tell what sort of emotion he feels with his voice, which is really good too. With that said, of course but then again we get to my biggest problem of all. This was outdone by After Christmas 2, which was released 2 years later. So really there's no reason to praise the good things or the inventive ideas they had when a better Christmas production came out a few years later. I know this has fans. I know, and it ended up making a bit of a franchise with this with a few more specials. With that, but for the first attempt, it is not good. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen, but yeah, I don't know whether these next couple of specials in the series get better, but for the first attempt, I didn't like it. It's a 4 out of 10 half stars. Had some good things in it, but I really can't recommend it. So what is next? Well, this one's actually going to be a bit interesting. I'm sort of revisiting something, well, sort of something I haven't done in a very long time. Like, I'm going back to the first things of Christmas I ever reviewed on this channel. Yep, I'm going back to Rain. I'm going back to that. More specifically, a sequel that I never knew anything about until this year when I thought I might as well revisit this. So with that said, this is Hazza from Hazza Reviews out, and I shall see you for my next video. Ciao!